specifically said, why is Brant's last name redacted?
Hi, I'm Jaycie. Welcome to the Forbidden Cities, a Keeper of the Lost Cities podcast. A podcast where Sydney and I talk about Keeper of the Lost Cities books, theories, characters, ships, and more.
Hi!
Hello.
Hi! Welcome to the Forbidden Cities podcast, episode 26.
Yes.
Sydney has some kind of story to start us off.
Oh, it's not really a story. It's just a note that it's Halloween. And this
Yeah.
is my first time ever not dressing up for Halloween.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never not dressed up, and
Oh,
I'm
wow.
sad. It used to always be my favorite.
I was Sophie
and
one year.
Oh, yeah, you were. That was pretty cool. Oh, wait,
Thanks.
was I? No, I dressed up for the Shannon Messenger event I went to. That's when
Oh,
I was
that's
Sophie. Yeah, yeah. And then I also was a Never Seen member for something. That was pretty fun, too.
That's so cool.
My dad made me, like, an armband and stuff.
Dude.
But, yeah, I walked into school today, into college, and I thought nobody would be dressed up. And everybody was dressed up.
Oh, yeah. College students all dress up.
I didn't know that. I guess last year I only had, like, Tuesday, Thursday classes, and I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't here on Halloween or
Yeah.
going to school.
So I'm sad about that. Even my professors are, like, covered in blood, okay?
Dude, that's
Pretty
awesome.
funny. Yeah. I'm
My
kinda
professors,
sad, but-
okay, in one of my college classes, this is actually kind of funny. In one of my college classes, we have this professor, and he's just so funny, like an interesting sort of funny. There's nothing wrong with him, but he's just got a specific personality, and he
There's
always
nothing wrong with him, but by the way.
But he's just him. So, anyways, he always wears like the same kind of thing to class every single day, like a polo, and it's always like the same two colors, and then these jeans, and then on one, not jeans, but like slacks, like work pants, and then once a week he comes in like a full suit, and once a week he comes in like his chill clothes. But everyone knows like what this is. Dr. By the way, if you don't know him.
Oh,
but anyways,
okay, yeah.
I might redact that. I don't know yet. I gotta Google him. But anyways, he comes in every day in the same thing, and everyone knows what he wears. And one day, like the day before Halloween, all the students got together, and all the girls and guys wore, like they all dressed up as him, and they all wore exactly what he wore. And he has
That's so
when he
funny.
walks in, he always says, "Good afternoon, everybody." And so he walked in, and everyone turned around dressed like him, and some of them had printouts of his face, and they all said, "Good afternoon, everybody." And he started
my
crying, laughing. It
I
was
love
so
that
funny.
so much.
It was really funny.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So,
Oh,
and then he
I
had a
wish we could
costume
do that.
contest another year. Yeah, it was so funny. He's so funny. He's a funny guy.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's genius, actually. I love that.
So yeah, everyone dresses up in college.
Yeah. Ugh, I should have known.
Well, now you know for next year, so you can start planning.
Totally. My art professor walked into my other class and was like, to my other professor, was like, "Emily, you gotta help me put on this blood." And she's a motorcyclist who got ran over by, yeah, she has like tire marks all over her, and she was wearing like a racing, I guess it was racing. But anyway, she's like covered in blood and tire marks and wearing a racing uniform. That was creative. She's also carrying around a wheel with her.
What?
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's so specific.
I love her. She's awesome. She's great.
My sister dressed up as an old lady. Like she wore a bathrobe and like sweatpants and had curlers in her hair. It was really funny, and she was talking to everyone like an old lady.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. To the podcast.
To the book. Yes.
To
So
the book,
we left
yes.
off at the end of chapter 23 last time, and I don't okay.
Yes.
So before we dive into the actual book where we were, Sydney and I were texting after we got off the podcast last time, and I'm going to pull up all of the details of those messages because I took very detailed notes to talk about this. So,
She copied and pasted, but
yeah, a ton of our
Just
text
kidding.
messages. So,
Yeah,
okay,
that's-
I came up with something based off of that. But first, let me get to our messages. So we were talking about, again, Kenric and Prentice, what was the kind of the connection there. And we were talking about these specific passages. I'm going to read a couple of them. First, Oh, I'll quote these in a second. Yes, go ahead.
Sounds good. By the way, guys, I completely forgot what we were talking about. I'm not going to lie. So you're going to get my reaction to whatever I said.
Because I went and I took all of these notes, and I was like, Sydney, I can't tell you exactly what we said yet because I want to hear you talk about it on the podcast. So
I know we discovered something, but...
All right, so I'm going to read our text and then go to the messages, not the messages. I'm going to read our text messages and then go to the passages we're talking about, for clarity. But there's not, an easy way to introduce this. So, Cindy said about, the Kenric Prentice thing, specifically about these passages, which I sent to her, and I was like, dude. And she said, all of that is so sus, because why does healing Prentice matter if she's not going to get something from him? And what better way to explain how there's stuff in his head than looking in Kenric's cache and seeing the Prentice memory? And why this memory? It makes no sense otherwise, and Kenric left it for a reason. And I, said, well, also, apparently, this is, the opposite direction, I guess, but I'll explain what I mean. Apparently, Kenric was on the council for, quote, quite some time before Orally joined. But out of his forgotten memories, if I'm remembering right, 6 out of 7 of them are from after she joined. So it was if he was there for a long time before she joined, and Shannon thought to specifically put that in the books, why do we only have 1 forgotten memory, the one with the gnomes, before, and then 6 after? And then we started talking about what if he had transferred some of the memories to Prentice's head, and Sydney also, thought maybe there's another cache somewhere, and, these memories are all there for a specific reason, but they're to also point them to Prentice to say, hey, he's got some forgotten secrets in his head. And, let's see, what else?
Wait, I have a thought.
Yes, what's your thought?
This might be a bad thought. But what if you send me our text messages and then we dramatically read them out loud as ourselves, as a script?
Well, that's all of the messages. So
oh, dang it.
I think next time that would be really funny, but that's all of the messages we said. But I also want to read the passages that I had sent you in those messages that sparked that whole conversation.
Okay.
So, cool. And I'm reading a shortened version. Some of these have some redacted stuff just for the sake of me not reading several pages. But this first part starts on page 250. Which is the memory where Kenric is telling Prentice, I want you to be my keeper. And so he says, first of all, I thought it was really funny that Kenric just pulls his catch out of his pocket, which is hilariously what Sophie does with it. She just carries it around.
Oh, you're so right. I didn't even connect that. But that's true.
Yeah, clearly, I don't know. I feel like it's supposed to show that he doesn't take it as seriously as the other counselors do, or he doesn't, I don't know, think of it in the same way as the counselors do, and neither does Sophie, but I just thought that was, a hilarious, parallel. Yes. But anyways,
because we tear Sophie up about that.
Yeah, we're like, you just put this in your pile of dirty clothes, but apparently Kenric did, so she's just, it's the same cache,
Wait, Jaycie, what if that means that she's his daughter? Just kidding.
Low-key how we theorize at this point. Anyways, so Kenric is like, how does this do us any good, hiding all the secrets in here? And it says specifically, very specifically in this passage, Prentice didn't have an answer. He just held up the cache and studied the glints of color. And Shannon puts all of these, this is multiple sentences. There were only 6 secrets at that point. The blue crystal is missing, which made sense, since it was the memory they were currently watching. But that meant Kenric had stopped recording things in his cache soon after this conversation, either because he didn't have any secrets that needed to be saved, or because he'd saved them somewhere else. That's a lot of sentences to put in a book if you're not trying to point to something. A lot.
Yes.
Okay, especially in such a long book, you're trying to cut down. Then I skip a little bit, and Kenric and Prentice are going back and forth. And then he says... this is going to just be after 250, but I don't have a page specifically for this.
Okay.
It's still in the very same
I'm following along. Okay, cool.
Kenric says, my training as a washer has taught me how to hide memories in a very specific way, where the person holding them remains completely unaware, but the memories can easily be triggered if the need arises, and I, as your partner, would know the triggers. They would be carefully selected words or phrases containing enough of a clue. This is so much detail to go into if Shannon's not going to do anything with this.
Yeah.
So many words, so much, if she's never going to do anything with it. Blah, blah, blah. I assure you, I've put a great deal of thought into how to make this work, but it would be much easier to show you what I mean, assuming you agree to give this a try, of course. And then he says, specifically, I'd keep your role off the record. No one knows about it. It's not written down anywhere, Kenric says. I'd keep your role off the record. Continuing, I'd tell the council that I have a keeper, but not your identity. technically speaking, because after this it leaves really unfinished, and he's like, well, tell me what you think, we can collaborate. He says exactly, ooh, and I would sooner let my sanity shatter than expose you. Sophie could tell by Kenric's expression and his tone that he truly believed that he could protect Prentice, but his confidence didn't silence the horrible thought that had started whispering in the back of her mind the moment she'd watched Kenric mention his proposition. What if Kenric was the reason Prentice was arrested, or part of it at least? If Prentice had been serving as Kenric's keeper, and the other counselors had no idea, they might have seen or heard something that made them suspicious of him. And even if Prentice never actually worked with Kenric, someone could have found out that Kenric had made him an offer and started watching Prentice more closely. She could be wrong, of course, but she couldn't deny the possibility. And either way, Kenric was yet another person who should have come to Prentice's defense and didn't, which made Sophie want to grab the cash and smash it into a million pieces and not protect Kenric. She wasn't sure that he deserved that, but she didn't want to put Wiley or Prentice through any more painful revelations, especially since there was no one who could answer their questions. Kenric is dead, Prentice's memories are gone, and nothing would ever change that. Sophie's little asides here, they're always because she's onto something. Think about Lodestar, where she's constantly like, well, like, it's really weird that Gethin is wanting to stay in his cell, and he's upset. It's really weird that he's mentioning the sword. It's really weird that Fenton wants to go to jail. Like, Sophie's always onto something.
And she's always wrong about one little key thing. Yeah. And there's, like, Prentice's memories were gone, and nothing would ever change that. She's not putting together the triggers. Yeah. If someone says Kenric's trigger, then his memories might come back.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we have Kenric specifically saying, assuming everything goes smoothly, then you'd become the place I record my new secrets. And he also says, oh, if it works the way I expect, I will start the process of transferring what's in my catch into your head. Fast forwarding a little bit. Prentice is like, well, there's no way to, like, keep the secret. And Kenric's like, what if just the counselors knew? Everyone else would still believe we're relying on caches, and I'm sure there are other precautions we can take as well. You and I can work on that together, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. And so basically, Prentice is not agreeing because he's like, oh, well, like, the counselors will know, we'll get out, and Kenric's like, well, we can figure out who should know. What if they decided just they knew, and no one else knew? Especially because Kenric had already said, like, hey, we should open our caches, and everyone freaked out and said no, so it's very likely that they were like, actually, let's just keep this between us.
Or they could have told someone that just, I don't know, that just hasn't been, they don't know it's relevant to tell the Black Swan right now, or don't want to tell them.
Yeah.
Who could that be? I don't know. But either way, they could keep it to themselves, or someone could know, and we just don't know yet that they know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And then it keeps going, and Sophie asks, are the counselors using keepers now? And Orly says no, and as far as I know, Kenric never made the suggestion. And Orly assumes that this means that Kenric didn't take him up on it, blah, blah, blah. But, like, and I was rereading Lodestar recently. Orly's assumptions, especially about Kenric, are always wrong. Like, in Unlocked, she's like, oh, yeah, like, but he would never wipe my mind illegally. He would never do that. And then he does, like, 3 pages later. Yeah. Her assumptions like this, and she's the one who sent Fenton to the dungeons before Fenton, like, broke Luminaria on all their heads. So her little assumptions like this, historically, always wrong. Sophie's are always right. So I think this is really interesting because, and whenever Orly's like, yeah, Kenric could never wipe my mind, and Sophie's like, no, he would if he thought he was protecting you. Like, Sophie knows.
Yeah, because...
and then Sophie thinks...
Honestly...
Go ahead,
What were you going to say? Honestly, Orally is the queen of Delulu. Like, she doesn't think... She thinks that... She tries to deny that Kenric likes her. She tries...
Yeah.
All this stuff.
Yeah, she's like, I'll be fine. We have forever. Yeah. Like, we have eternity. It doesn't matter. Boom. Not anymore.
You were going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, and right after Orly's like, well, I assume this means that, like, he decided to never use Prentice as the keeper. Then Sophie immediately thinks, or they were still working everything out when Prentice was arrested. Which Sophie's little asides are always right. Also, that this timeline means that he had already found and taken Orly to Elysian before this memory. And before, wait, does that say because he took Orly to Elysian fairly recently, Oh, wait. Yeah, we know that it happened fairly recently, like, by the time that they already actually were in love, because he calls her Aura in that memory. Again, intentional. These details are really intentional. Also, that means that, remember you were like, oh, the shadowed figure that wiped Orly's memory, what if it was Prentice?
Yes.
Probably not, because this happened after that. So.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
And we know that every one of Kenric's memories are important, because there's a conversation specifically where Orly says.
Show me again how we know it happened after.
Oh, because Prentice holds up the cache and it already has 6 forgotten secrets in it on page, I think, close to 250.
Okay.
So,
gotcha.
And this is the 7th secret.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
Which also, I guess that does mean that if Kenric had other memories in it, no, it means that Kenric couldn't have had other memories in it because he hadn't taken any of them out yet. So yeah, he only had one before Orly joined the council, which means that he probably decided to start taking all her missions or whatever. That's why he has so many in. Yeah, because she was like, yeah, Kenric always said that I couldn't be a part of anything that might be too traumatic. So he just started taking all her assignments.
Does that also mean that Kenric can't have been on the council super, super long? Because he should have more if he was on there for a while?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, kind of, like, in the hundreds of years versus thousands, like 100 years, something like that. Because she says quite some time, but also, like, you know, elven years, who knows? Who knows what that means?
I'm thinking, like, a forgotten secret probably pops up every 1 to 200 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So, by not a lot of time, I mean, like you said, 100 years.
Right.
Yeah.
What else? What am I looking for? Oh. And I was also going to say, we know that every single one of these is important because Shannon also takes page time to say, like, Kenric recorded each of these memories for a very specific reason. We just need to understand why. Orly says that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if a forgotten secret isn't important, you just delete it and you don't store it. But he decided to store these. So I did make a list of each memory trying to figure out the purposes. And basically all I could come up with this one is to show that Prentice was, like, the only possible one is to show that Prentice was involved with forgotten secrets. Because other than that, it doesn't make sense.
Yes, yep. And it totally explains why Prentice is important, which has been my question the whole time. Like, okay, he's important, but then we get him back. Yeah, we get him back, and he's like, and we're like, oh, he has no memories in his head. Yeah. But this is a way that he can have memories left in his head, and we wouldn't know yet, which explains why Prentice is still around, why it's important. Otherwise, he would just be a dead end, and I don't think Shannon's going to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't make sense other than that.
Yeah. So to spell it out super clearly, we're saying that Kenric put memories in Prentice's head, right? And that in the next book, or the next, or at some point.
Whatever.
Somehow.
Before retirement, hopefully.
We're going to get something out of Prentice, and it's going to have to do with Kenric. And Kenric either put it in his head or some connection there.
Well, here's the thing.
I would bet on it. Yeah.
Because what's left unfinished? We know Kenric went to Elysian and that he was trying to figure out what the purpose was, but we also know that when he asked Orly to leave the council, that he seemed really, really, like, upset, afraid, like, disgusted. Like, he had realized, I am assuming, he had realized what it was. So maybe the secret of what it was hidden in Prentice's mind. That's the only thing I can think of that would be worth all of this.
Yeah, I just don't know. I can't predict when it's going to come up.
Yeah, because they're there.
Yeah, they're literally there.
Like,
so they're going to have to leave and have some dead time for someone else to show up with information.
Yeah.
In order for it to become relevant.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, how is it going to become relevant? Because they're there already, so why Prentice? Why do we need him?
Yeah, unless it's something completely different or, like, connected, but you can't infer it from being there.
Yeah.
Maybe he found some. I wonder if Kenric found some ancient stuff that will give us, like,
100%. That's why he needed Fenton.
Yeah. Yeah. So we, like, meet Elysian, and then somehow we escape that, and then go back and find out the backstory behind her. It's a her, right? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just don't
But something's in Prentice's head.
Yeah. And
it makes so much sense.
Speaking of Kenric, I got a cool email it's like going to be 5 seconds, but I thought it was a cool theory. Speaking of Kenric.
Okay. Cool.
So this is from, I'll just say the person's first initial. I'm going to call her E because it's her first initial. She sent it this month, and she said that she's a huge fan of our podcast. So thank you for sending the email. Thank you for listening. That was super exciting. And it's a theory. It's a very interesting city because we specifically mentioned this. We specifically said, why is Brant's last name redacted?
Oh, yeah.
So,
okay.
She listed out all of these siblings.
I know what this theory is.
Adeline Kayla Ruine, Julene Kayla, but spelled differently, Disney. Or maybe it's like Kalia. Tam Dai Sung, Lynn Hai Sung. So same middle name with one different initial. Fitzroy Avery Vacker, Bianna Amberly Vacker. Kenric Elger Fadden, Brant Alger blank. My jaw is visibly dropping. You can't tell.
Wait, tell me Adeline and Jolene again.
Like Kalia and Kalia. So K-E-L-I-A and then K-A-L-E-A.
K-E-L-I-A and K, say the last then.
Sorry, K-A-L-E-A for Juline.
E-A. Oh.
I know. I was like,
weird.
I've never put this together, but that's like,
okay,
that's a lot of middle names to be the same.
Whoa, I've seen the Algar thing, and I was like, okay, whatever. But
all the siblings have like basically the same middle names, and Brant's is specifically redacted from the like official. And I don't know, but Brant was a bad match with Jolie. Kenric could have been a bad match with Orly. Brant wanted to mess with the matchmaking system. It stands to reason that Kenric would have, like Kenric says to what's his name, Benham, like, oh, if it was up to me, I'd do away with all of those rules. So that's a pretty good theory.
Is there anything in their appearance that's similar? Kenric and Brant, possibly?
I mean, obviously everyone has blue eyes. Brant has brown hair. Let me make sure this person didn't say anything. And, I mean, obviously Kenric has red hair, but, I mean, I don't know. Maybe someone's a pyrokinetic and Jean's, I don't know. Let me find.
I'm thinking of I'm trying to think of other ways we could find evidence.
Isn't it really interesting now?
Yeah.
Let me open Exile and see what I see about Brant really quick. Do you have any thoughts on it while I'm looking?
I'm just thinking. I'm trying to think of any other ways we could confirm that.
We really only see Brant in book 2 a lot because he's kind of like crazy in it. And Brant's afraid of fire, ironically, because he's a pyrokinetic. Okay.
Huh.
I'm gonna pause.
What about Alvar? Is Alvar his middle name? Yeah.
Let me see.
What's his middle name?
Alvar Vacker, middle name. I mean, also there's Dex, Rex, Bex, and Lex, which is nice.
I wish I had unlocked in front of me.
Okay.
I guess I have the wiki.
Oh, his middle name is Soren.
Okay.
It's completely different. But a lot of the siblings having middle names is enough evidence to me to be suspicious.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with Brant's last name being redacted. That's so weird.
Yeah.
And it would make so much sense. Because he's like the only person in the entire book whose last name is redacted, and he's dead. So, like, why would it matter? Unless they're both dead together. That's kind of funny.
Stop. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of any other siblings and any other ways we could confirm it.
They don't describe Brant when he's introduced. He's just covered in scars. Hold on.
I'll check the wiki and see what it says. He died at 36? Man, he's young.
Dude, that is young. That's even young for humans.
Yeah. Okay, eye color grayish blue. Hair color black. Black? Is it? Wait, let me check.
Wild.
Appearance. Is that true? Oh yeah, jet black hair. Pale gray blue eyes.
Pale.
Interesting.
That's really interesting. All I know is that Kenric has blue eyes with flecks of green. It's always the flecks. Everyone has flecks in their eyes.
Which is also suspicious, but I still don't think it's him.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I just think that there's only so many kinds of blue eyes that you can give people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm scrolling through Brant's thing. Oh, wait.
Oh, you're good.
Many fans... Oh, okay, I see.
What does it say?
This is fan theories. Okay, parents, names unknown. Brant's relationship with his parents was rocky. They tried everything to get Brant to manifest an ability. After Brant's mind broke from the fire, they stopped contacting him due to the guilt they felt when seeing his scars. So Edeline and Grady started taking care of him. Okay, so that's like a potential minor explanation for why his last name's redacted, but not really.
But also, I feel like it would make sense if Kenric didn't want to be associated with Brant, since he's a counselor. Like, you can't become a counselor if you're associated with a pyrokinetic.
Yeah, or if his parents were, yeah. Do we know anything about Kenric's parents? I assume not.
No,
I don't think I remember
Which
anything.
is, like, I don't know. We had a funeral for him. I feel like, I don't know, maybe Sophie wasn't really there because she read the Ogre King's Mind and stuff, so then it was all crazy.
Many fans believe that Brant's parents were Vackers, while others believe he may be related to Kenric or even the Reddics because of Morella's pyrokinesis. Morella's much more likely Fenton's related to Fenton, I feel like. But
I feel like anything. Like, because it's the hints that we've gotten.
Algar means elf spear.
Algar does?
Yep. Brant means sword or fire in Old Norse. Back to the Norse thing. I'm not saying anything.
Sword and...
Sword and or fire.
Okay. For Brant's middle name? Okay.
Yep. No, his first name.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, for first name. Interesting. Okay. I think that's such an interesting theory, though. I'd never thought of that, and I'm like... I like, kind of wouldn't be surprised if it was true. Yay. Yeah. Thank you so much for sending that.
I would think it was out there except for the examples.
Yeah, so with all, like, so many other ones being the same. Other than that, like, there's not much other evidence except for the last name.
Yeah. But now I want to look for more.
It's weird. I know. I feel like I need to, like, search the whole series now. Okay. Now, for the main event that everyone's been waiting for.
Yes.
Stellarlune.
Yes, let me get back to where we were. 24. Okay, I added some new notes like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, fabulous. There's one thing that I missed in 23, whenever Sophie was, like, stressing about Keith. I was just saying that, like, her, like, going back and forth and going in circles was, like, actually stressing me out. I was like, okay, I get it. I got it. Let's go. Like, I can't do that. Anyways, although it was cute whenever she said Keith would make a really great boyfriend. Like, yeah, he would. He does, doesn't he?
Totally.
Okay. So we left off with Mr. Forkle just being like, by the way, Brumevale was destroyed. And yes. So what do you have any notes about this?
The first note I have is, I gotta go back and forth between my outline and stuff. The first note I have is just when I was just continuing to be mad. So when he said, Tinker said we should have put, where is it? Hold on, I gotta find it.
You're good?
But Tinker insisted we add sensors to all her properties. Clearly she's wiser than I am. I was like, yeah, she is. Yeah. I'm just mad at him.
Yeah, and, like, why doesn't he listen to anyone? Why do you want other people in your organization if you're not going to listen to a word they say?
Real. So then I have listed Brumevale has a sus backstory. So just like the Prentice thing, let me find it. I'm sure you noticed this too. You just probably forgot. Hold on. Let me find it.
Didn't even think about it.
Where is it? Okay. Tiergan told us that Brumevale had a complicated history, she said quietly. Mr. Forkle nodded. I've heard that as well. Supposedly it was once the scene of some sort of tragedy, but I don't know the specifics. No one does. The story's been lost over the centuries. Sophie frowned. Tiergan made it sound like he knew. Did he? Mr. Forkle asked. Or did he simply dodge your questions? Tiergan's particularly adept at misdirection. That kind of sounds like Forkle dodging questions as he speaks.
It does. Gaslighting her on level 1000.
Did he?
Also, I think that's an interesting thing to say. Why do you think Tiergan's particularly adept at misdirection, Mr. Forkle? Is that relevant to anything else?
Suspicious. So then Sophie says, he, ... Sophie's voice trailed off as her mind replayed the exact words Tiergan had used. He'd said the person affected should be the one to tell her about Brumevale's history, which was technically true whether he knew who they were and what happened to them or not. Either way, it didn't matter because she thought of a much more important question. Do you think what happened in Brumevale's past is connected to the Neverseen?
Of course.
I suppose anything is possible, but I doubt it. He's wrong. Okay.
Everyone always doubts it. Everyone always doubts everything Sophie says, even though they're literally like, wow, you're the amazing smart person. You're probably stupid, though.
That's so true. Then he goes on to say, from what I understand, Brumevale was built by an ancient couple that have since passed away. They never had any children, and no one claims any ties to their family line. That's why I was able to take over the property without any issue. Wait, could this be connected to Elysian somehow? Or anything else?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'll finish reading what he says. That's why I was able to take over the property. Only a handful of people even know Brumevale exists, and even fewer know how to find it. I'm sure you remember how difficult it was to journey there, and there are no direct paths. Okay, that's also similar to Elysian. The mist filters too much of the light, preventing anyone from leaping to the actual lighthouse. Dude. Everyone must take the stairs, which are hidden by the clouds. Illusions. You have to know exactly where they are in order to reveal them. Wonder how the Neverseen were able to find it then, Edeline said. We're trying to figure that out, Mr. Forkle told her. Any theories, Sophie pressed. None I'm willing to share at the moment, and not because I'm trying to keep you in the dark. It's simply unwise to call out suspects without evidence of their involvement. Okay, so then they start talking about a potential mole or leak. Okay, but that's a weird thing, like long paragraph to stick in the middle of this conversation.
And with the same stuff as Elysian, like Elysian,
I don't
exactly
even think
how
about
it was hidden
that
and stuff.
Last time.
Not being able to leap there, not being able to teleport there.
Yeah,
that's crazy. If nothing else, I feel like...
Wait. I think she did teleport there, but Elysian, she couldn't teleport specifically because of the stained glass dome, I believe.
Oh, right.
It wasn't because it was, like, impossible to teleport to. Yeah.
But I feel like the same person behind Brumevale has to be the person behind Elysian.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so maybe that's a hint. An ancient couple that have since passed away. Passed away?
Right, sure, okay.
Because elves do that.
Right, because elves do that all the time without us questioning it.
They never had any children, and no one claims any ties to their family line. Huh.
Well, they have to be tied in somewhere because people don't just die.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to be related to somebody.
I kind of want to go back. Do you have unlocked?
I mean, I have Kindle unlocked, yeah.
Check just information on Brumevale, and I'll go to the wiki.
Okay, I'm going to pause the recording while I do it so that we don't just have dead. Well, all I could find was two, like, tiny things, like 2 mentions of it in all of Unlocked. One is Sophie's notes about the Black Fawn. She says, Brumevale, the lonely tower where Mr. Forkle hid after what happened in Luminaria, which is apparently also where he first came up with the idea for Project Moonlark. And then the other one is Granite brought us to Brumevale. It's just more notes about Mr. Forkle's secret identical twin.
Okay.
So nothing.
Okay. Interesting.
What did you find?
I'll just read the wiki. It's pretty short.
Okay.
And then maybe we should check in Legacy? No, earlier than that, whenever they go there. Okay.
Nightfall.
Yes. Brumevale, first seen in Nightfall, is one of the Black Swan's hideouts. This is the location, blah, blah, blah. The only place Mr. Forkle has found moonlarks in the wild. It's ancient, with a complicated history, reclaimed by the Black Swan. Location where Project Moonlark was conceived. Okay. Much like Atlantis, access to Brumevale, one must first light leap to the entrance location. This is not super helpful. Okay.
Nothing, like, interesting.
The staircase to enter Brumevale consists of narrow blue stones that hover in the sky without anchor, railing, or structure.
I remember that.
Oh, there's a lighthouse which seems to emit a deep, soulful hum.
Yeah. I'm looking at the passage now.
What's with the deep, soulful hum?
That is interesting.
That makes me think of Elysian also, and the, like, mood.
Yes, the, like, mood. Oh! Weird. Oh, that's so weird. And Tyrkin calls it a place of reflection? Yes. This has always been a place for reflection. Project Moonlark was actually conceived here. Oh. So they came up with the idea for Project Moonlark there.
Yep. It also says there's a weathered door carved from rich cherry-colored wood, Small round chamber, shabby armchairs and faded rugs, has a narrow staircase, tucked in the shadows that leads upstairs.
Uh-huh.
What else did you find? Why'd you gasp?
Oh, because I was skimming the passage too, where like they're at Brumevale, and Tyrgen says, well, okay. They asked why only most of the work was done at the High Seas facility, because he said, we came up with the idea for Project Moonlark here, but most of the work was done at the High Seas facility. And Dex said, why only most of the work? And he said, Tyrgen said, to ensure that the two elves who donated their DNA for the project never met. Anonymity was essential to protect their identities. And Sophie asks, but you know who they are? And Tyrgen says, actually, Mr. Forkle kept your genetic father and mother's identities to himself. But that information hasn't been lost. And Sophie asked about because of the device that he gave you. And Tyrgen says, actually, the gadget he gave me before he died, it wasn't intended for me. You'll see why soon enough. But I gasped at, he kept it entirely to himself. I didn't realize that the collective didn't know except him.
Wait. Was that Tyrgen talking?
Yeah.
Read that again from the beginning.
I know. Okay. So, Fitz said, what do you guys use this place for? And Tyrgen said, it's always been a place for reflection. Project Moonlark was actually conceived here, though most of the genetic work was done at our High Seas facility. That's the hideout where we healed your abilities, in case you're wondering, he added for Sophie, which has since been abandoned thanks to the Neverseen's assault. Why was only most of the work done there? Dex asked. To ensure that the two elves who donated their DNA for the project never met. Anonymity was essential to protect their identities. But you know who they are? Sophie had to ask. Actually, Mr. Forkle kept your genetic father and mother's identities entirely to himself, though that information hasn't been lost.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he says, so Tyrgen specifically doesn't know. That doesn't mean no one else knows. It just means Tyrgen's admitting he doesn't know who else.
Like, who's the genetic parents?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah. Here's my train of thought. This might be completely irrelevant. But, okay, Tyrgen says, your parents can't know each other's identities. Then he says, I don't know your parents' identities.
Mm-hmm. He says Mr. Forkle kept it to himself. He never says he doesn't know. And as Mr. Forkle said, Tyrgen's particularly adept at misdirection.
No, but I think Tyrgen doesn't know because he's her dad. I think specifically Tyrgen doesn't know.
Okay, I thought you were trying to say he wasn't, and I was like, this is not proof against that.
No. No, I'm trying to say, he says, oh, well, her parents couldn't know who each other were, and then he says, well, actually, Forkle is the only one who knows.
And he never gives a straight answer. And Sophie says, why? Because of the gadget he gave me before he died? Does that mean you haven't gone through it? And Tyrgen says, it wasn't intended for me. Mm-hmm. Not yes or no. It wasn't intended for me.
Yeah.
Ooh, he never gives a straight answer.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay.
And it's also kind of funny to think of him, like, telling her about... I feel like he's constantly telling her about her parents without actually telling her anything.
Oh yeah. He mentions them actually a suspicious amount, kind of.
Yes. Huh.
This is crazy.
Okay.
I remember them saying something else about Brumevale in this area, and I can't... Oh, no, I remember that they mentioned specifically how Orly got rid of his body, and I can't remember what they said.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna pause the recording while I search. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
I'll tell them something funny while you... I'm scrolling through the wiki. Well, you're gonna be distracted by this, but I'm scrolling through the wiki comments, and we have... fun fact, broom means mist in
Uh-oh, Cindy's gone. Oh. Okay, Cindy's back. She said broom means mist and...
in French, that's all.
Oh, in French.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then the rest of these comments are broom. Sounds like a vacuum. And then Evalimurb, so it's Brumevale backwards, and then broomy and roomy. I don't know. People are just commenting nonsense on this, which is just kind of funny.
They're going crazy. Okay.
I'm looking for more. Okay.
Oh, I know what it is. So, okay. Sophie and her friends go to the Brumevale hideout, and Forkle's like, ha, boo, I'm alive. And they're all like, ah. And then they go to Havenfield, and they call, like, the whole gang. They call, like, everybody's parents and Counselor Orly randomly. I don't know why she comes. Someone decides to make her come there. Oh, because she's there when Forkle dies. Duh. Okay, so that's why it's not suspicious. So anyways, then I should have thought this was so much more suspicious, because Forkle's so, like, intentional with her. But anyways,
Okay.
the point of this is that Dex's dad asks what happened to the body. And this is what it says. It's so funny because it's so... Apparently...
Wait, so remind me what your thought is on this again? Just that
I'm
it's
looking
weird.
for what she did with his body, and I found how she got rid of his body and that she's not a conjurer, allegedly.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
It's just such a cover-up. It's so funny. Dex's father, Kessler, somewhat morbidly wanted to know what happened to the other Forkel's body after Orly hid it. Apparently, the late Mr. Forkel had told Orly how to contact the Black Swan, and Wraith had snuck into the ruins and brought the body back to one of the Black Swan's hideouts, where Physic made sure it was given a proper burial.
So wait, what am I supposed to be seeing?
I just think it's funny that it's like, apparently Mr. Forkel told Orly how to contact the Black Swan, which she didn't know because she'd never spoken to them before.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
But anyways.
That is kind of funny.
But
okay,
yes,
cool.
she's
so
not
she's
a conjurer. Allegedly she contacts one of the collective.
Come on, guys. You were supposed to let us know about this. When we say stuff that isn't true, it's your job
fact check
to fact check it.
I can't say anything.
Critical
I don't know
thinking.
like anything that happens
Goodness.
in Nightfall. As was apparently made evident when I put my tier list and everyone was mad about it.
You need to reread Nightfall. It's so
I reread
good.
that part
because
because that's the only part that Orly said.
We really do need to reread. I mean, we gotta go through everything.
Yeah.
But maybe after the new book part, we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm
know.
thinking. I want to do an episode of like, here's some things that we think could actually come out that will be interesting in the next book, so that will be fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've got
We've got a month.
A month? Is it December?
December
Okay.
4th.
I've got no clues. I've got no clue what's in that
I'm going to
book,
come up with
honestly.
some ideas.
Okay, cool.
Because it says...
I can...
Shannon
Go
said
ahead.
that there's some secrets that we're going to find out that Sophie doesn't even know yet. Like something real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be out of total left field, though, honestly.
Really?
I can project for the main series path, but I don't know about
With Keith.
humans. You add humans in, and I'm like, what? I got no clue. I don't know. The whole door thing and the man and his daughter.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That just confuses me.
Yeah, I don't... Well, that's also
But
Nightfall,
anyway.
isn't it?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
But still, it's just, I'm like, who are they? Where did they come? I don't know. I do not know.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the book. Brumevale.
Yes.
Side
Yeah,
stuff.
they're there.
Okay, yeah. Totally, wait, hold on. Not to stay on Brumevale, but can we specifically compare it with Elysian descriptions? real quick?
Yeah. Hold on. Do you want to pull up the Elysian and I can stay on Brumevale, or do you want me to go to Elysian?
You go to Elysian if you can.
And when they're actually physically there, not like Kenric and Orly, but the end of the series, or I mean the end of the book.
I'm not sure. What do you think? What should we compare?
I'll do when they're there because it's more of a first-hand rather than like, oh, we're kind of watching these people talk about experiencing it.
Okay. You know what?
Plus, we've talked enough about Kenric and Orly being there. I mean, not about Kenric and Orly, but about that specific scene. So.
Okay. I'll actually look at Kenric and Orly.
Okay.
I'll do that. You want to pause it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that because they talked to Gisela for a long time about being in Elysian. So. Okay, so I found the thing in Nightfall where it says that there's like a deep, soulful hum, and if you like follow along where it says that, it's actually saying that it's, if I'm not getting mixed up with something else. At first, Sophie thought the wind was giving her goosebumps, but as her senses settled, she picked up the same haunting melody that she'd heard earlier, only so much louder and clearer. The song was rich and soulful, and somehow felt both fiercely hopeful and achingly sad. This is Nightfall, by the way. Nightfall, page... I don't know. It's 24% of the way through when they're talking to Mr. Forkel. Moonlarks,
Okay.
Mr. Forkel explained. I don't know if you realize how rare it is to find nests in the wild, but this is the only one I've found in all my years. And they return to it time and time again, generation after generation. So the lonely song she's hearing is the song of Moonlarks, okay? The soulful hum. Okay. Now, switching to Stellarlune. When they go to Stellarlune... This, I do have a page number for.
Of the wiki. I can't believe that.
Yes. So page 702 of Stellarlune.
Okay.
When Vespera shows up in Sophie's bedroom and then takes her to Elysian, and she says you can only bring, like, so many friends, and she also brings Keith, whatever. It's not too late to change your mind, Sandor murmured, as the rolling hills of Elysian shimmered into focus once again. Shimmered? ? Apparently they're leaping there? ? I don't... Is this the second time that Sophie goes there? Or is it just, like, the memory and then also they go there?
Wait, what?
It says, specifically, they shimmered into focus once again. So, 1, they light leapt there. 2, this is the second time they went? ? Anyways.
Huh? Wait, okay, so they light leapt to
Elysian.
To Elysian? Is
Yes.
this because of something Vespera gave them, though?
Well, Vespera takes them there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But why does it say
Second
again?
Shimmered into focus again. Where? I'm looking
Well,
for
they
where
must
it
have
says
been
it.
there because then Sandor points his sword and he says, this is the very first
Yes,
sentence of chapter
actually,
3.
this is the second time
time
because
they've
they
been there.
searched it. Yeah.
Yes, they searched it, right, okay. And then, anyways, they're talking about this, and Vespera's like, blah, 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 I'm so invincible. Moments before death. So, then, if we skip a couple of pages, we go to what's on page 704. And they're said, does this have something to do with the illusions? Vespera frowned. Illusions are not made of flowers. They're made of light and shadow and very subtle sounds that slowly guide us forward or steer us away. Can you hear them? Sophie tried to concentrate, but all she could hear was the tree's lonely song. Interesting. We got that same, like, lonely song in the background. Probably not the same, but because the other one was the Moonlark, but who knows?
Yeah.
She could still sense that strange tension, though. Was that what Vespera meant? Was the illusion trying to make her uneasy so she'd stay away from it? So I just thought that was the reason that whenever we were off air, I was like, oh, I can't say anything. It's because of it had the same lonely song description, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
But this isn't the first time they go there because it says, like, we went here again.
Yeah, they go earlier and they search it, and then they get really upset because they can't find a thing.
Yeah, they can't find anything when they're searching, and wait.
I
Yes.
just found exactly what you're looking for.
Okay.
She closed her eyes and concentrated, listening to the tree's soft melody. It was a sad song, a lonely one. But that made sense, since they were standing somewhere that gnomes had probably never been allowed to visit. Find something, Keith asked Sophie as she stretched out her consciousness. And then, she feels the strange sort of tension. But it's coming from the trees. But it is a song. It definitely is. Which is
and
the
a starstone takes them there. Okay, they leap there with a starstone, by the way, not a like leaping crystal.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the first time, this place is way bigger than I expected. This is the very first page of chapter 46, which is page 687, and Dex says that it's way bigger than he expected. The field of rolling hills sprawled on, fading into murky darkness, but Sophie could hear the gurgle of a river in the distance. Actually, it must have been multiple rivers, because she couldn't tell which direction the sound was coming from. Hopefully that meant there were 5 rivers, and even if she were right, and they were standing in the middle of Elysian, there was basically nothing to see. A few twisted trees, some scraggly shrubs, lots of long wind-swept grass, but Vespera was a master of illusions. There had to be so much more hidden under the surface. And then Keith calls Team Foster Keith.
So, wait, if Brumevale is connected to the Neverseen, which I think Sophie or Edelyn brings up, which is suspicious, that's why they destroyed it. I don't think they destroyed it just because they thought it was important. Because Forkel's like, I don't know why they destroyed it. I guess they thought it was more important than it actually was. But
yeah.
I
But
bet
if it, like, historically it had something to do with Elysian, that makes sense as a misdirect.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Wild. Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. I forgot to mention this. Kenric says, let me go back to where I was. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry. Kenric says that. Oh my goodness, I lost it.
Is this in his forgotten memory? He says something about
Yes. Sorry. I'm comparing
good.
it to Brumevale. He says, though, that places with certain energy mess with your senses, which, I don't know, I'm just connecting that with Brumevale.
It's all making me think of the prime sources in Legacy. because that was a long, like, the first half of Legacy was them doing the Point of Purity Light Leap thing. And that was, like, super random to stick in Book 8. And Ron's like, they should talk about this in Foxfire, which is an awesome way to cover the plot hole of it not being talked to up to Book 8. But anyways, this has to do something with those two, which I was just thinking about.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just interesting, too, that we have, like, butterflies here, and then we have moonlarks at the other.
Yeah. Oh, you're so right.
Because otherwise I was
Could
thinking
be the butterflies singing.
Yeah, I guess so. What is with these butterflies? And also, why are the trees red? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like weird. It's so interesting, and I feel like it could just totally be for the aesthetic, and then like the purpose of the place is the real thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, we'll talk about this more when we get here.
Yes.
As for Brumevale, it does definitely sound like it's related to Stellarlune, or not Stellarlune. It sounds like it's related to Elysian, which is super interesting, and I did not put that together before. Yeah, and they both sound like they're related to the Neverseen. I feel like Vespera is some kind of, like, she was an ancient counselor. Do you feel like that?
Maybe.
Because she's like, oh, this is just like I remember it all those years ago about Elysian, which only makes sense if she was, like, part of the people who created it, which to me only makes sense if she was a counselor.
I'm gonna say not a counselor, but close.
Like an emissary or something?
First of all, I think she would have bragged if she was a counselor. And then second, I think everybody would be like, oh, there were only 3 counselors. We know about 2, but why don't we know about the 3rd of the ancient?
Well, maybe not like the original 3, but like an ancient. Okay. Brant wasn't an original,
possibly.
But okay, I don't know, though. I feel like that would be harder to cover up for the entire Lost Cities. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, wild.
I wonder if, I'm still on Brumevale. I wonder if they're going to find anything at the site of Brumevale now.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Maybe. I know that all they find is Gisella's bombs.
Yep.
Pieces of them, but we'll get there soon.
Thank you for listening to the Forbidden Cities podcast. Leave us a review and tell a friend about the podcast if you liked us. Email us with comments and episode suggestions at theforbiddencitiespodcast@gmail.com. And to follow us on Instagram, just search @Forbidden Cities Podcast.